Hey, what's up? Welcome to the video. So today I'm going to be talking about crafting your brand story. Your brand story is incredibly important. It's usually what you have on your homepage of your website, and it's what you post throughout all of your social media platforms and everything. It's the video that you use to acquire new customers and also acquire lifelong customers. So the point of the video is to get your customers or followers emotionally invested with this video and know more about your brand and trust your brand. So again, it's just an incredibly important video. So we're going to go over how to craft that video and make it a successful one. So with that said, we're going to get straight into it. The first thing that you have to keep in mind when you're crafting your brand story is that it has to be personality driven. So obviously, having your brand, whether it's a business or a personal brand, you are the face behind that brand. So you need to have your personality behind that. Again, every brand has a voice. You can construct this voice again by doing the 2020 exercise that I talked about in the branding basics video. So if you haven't seen that, definitely go back to that video and watch that. It's a great way to figure out what exactly you want your brand to be about. But I'm just going to assume you've already done that and you know what you want your voice to be. So it has to be, again, personality driven, and you have to have your voice around it, the way you communicate with your customers, and it has to be consistent. It's not just you talking like a robot to the camera. Again, the point of this video is to get these followers or customers emotionally invested in your brand, the same emotional investment and connection that you have with your brand. So incredibly important, it has to be personality driven. The next thing that you have to have is a story, and although it's a story, you don't want it to be too long-winded. It has to be concise. Again, same thing with rules of copywriting. If you can explain the same thing that you're trying to get across in half the words, then you definitely want to do that. Because again, with videos, you only have the viewer's attention for so long. Obviously, the point of crafting this brand story and making it engaging is the idea that they'll stick around to watch the whole thing, but it's just not realistic that everyone's going to watch the whole thing. So you really want to get as much across as quick as possible. But that doesn't mean talk fast, doesn't mean any of that. You just want to be concise with everything you're doing. So again, with the examples that I've used before, if you were like a restaurant, as far as story is concerned, you would want to have a background rather than we have the best spaghetti in Los Angeles. Maybe you're saying, back in 1901, my grandmother had this family recipe. Everyone loved this family recipe. Everyone in the neighborhood would come over to her house every week to have her famous spaghetti, and she carried this spaghetti all the way from Italy over to the United States, and she protected it, and it's been made the same way over the last 2 generations, and now we make it here the same way, our award-winning spaghetti in Los Angeles. Whatever you're trying to get across, that's an example. But the basic point of that is it has to be an engaging story, right? And it has to be something that's going to catch the customer's mind. Again, the human brain, it really loves story. It gets compelled by story. Same reason we watch movies, and we're able to watch a movie for 3 hours without moving and get so emotionally invested that we cry during movies, or we get mad at characters during movies. Like people hate characters even though it's just an actor playing a character. It's because we get emotionally invested by story. So if you can capture that sort of magic into your brand story, then you are on the right track. So again, you need a story, but you need to make it concise. So usually the beginning starts with a problem, a problem that usually you have. So usually when you come up with a business, a product, sometimes you think, sometimes you have a problem, like a personal problem, and then you look for some solution and it's not there, so you decide to start a business around it. But it's not just that. You could also start with a problem a customer has, like problems you've seen throughout the world. It really depends how your company was formed. So you want to have a problem, a struggle that was either for yourself or the customer, or both. Ideally, it's both. Then you have the middle. The middle is where you're going to talk about the solution, how you found the solution, and how you constructed your business, your brand. And then you're going to talk about the success. So there's 3 steps here. You want to get a pen and paper. You want to think about the beginning, problem, and struggle, the middle, solution, and how you solved it. And then the success part, which is one of the most important parts, is you want to get excited about your brand. And more than just getting excited about your brand, because you should have excitement about your brand. So you should have excitement while you're talking about your brand, but you want to get excited on how your brand can help the customer or the follower. So again, this is like the big punch near the end. You want to have this part where you're getting excited, excited about the solution that you found, excited about how you've come to be where you are now, but then you also want to be excited on how you can help the customer. And then that leads pretty much into the conclusion, and the conclusion isn't the conclusion, right? It's not the end. You don't want to end it off as the end, because the message you really want to get across is that the ending is really the beginning of your relationship with that customer. Because a lot of these customers or followers or whatever, they're going to be visiting your site for the first time and watching this video for the first time. And for some of them, it's going to be the first time they've ever heard of you. So you don't want to be saying like, this is the end of the story. You really want that to be the beginning of this story. You want this to be the start of your relationship with them. So that's an incredibly important part. And we're going to talk about more tips to sprinkle in here. You're going to want to sprinkle in some testimonials and a bunch of different things. But this is really the basic outline. But now I'm going to talk about some tips that you also want to keep in mind when you're going through this. So the first tip that you need to keep in mind is that this is not about you. Although it is your brand story, it's about your brand. At the end, the customer shouldn't be thinking that the video was about you. What they should be thinking is that the video was for them, how it could help them. So one way to think about this is in movies, usually there's a hero and usually there's a guide, right? Usually there's someone who doesn't think they're good enough to achieve something, or they have to achieve something that they don't think is possible, and then there's someone that helps them achieve it or realize their full potential. In this situation, you are the guide. You do start off talking about yourself, talking about how your brand was constructed, how it came to be what it is today, but by the end, they should be thinking that you are going to be the guide to help them to reach their full potential or get something that they strive to have. So that's an incredibly important tip. So now I'm going to erase the board, put the next tips up, and I will transition into that. All right, welcome back. So the next tip that I have here is that you need to have a call to action. So again, I went over the ending, how I said, the end is really the beginning of your relationship with the customer. And somewhere in that ending, you want to have a call to action. So this call to action, depending on what action you want them to take, but ideally you are trying to trying to get them to head over to see what products you provide. So your call to action could be to check out the services area if you're selling services, or to come try, if you were a restaurant, come try your famous dish. Or if you're one with the example that I used earlier, your famous spaghetti, you could give them a coupon to try it. That's actually a strategy that I really like, is at the end of the video, you give maybe you have a pop-up or something where they can sign up for a limited time coupon, like a really good coupon or offer or deal to try out your product for the first time, to even furthermore get them more invested into your business and know even more about you, your business or brand. But staying with the brand story video, you want to have the call to action, and you want to have a plan within that call to action. So same rules with call to actions. You need to have a call to action, because people don't take action without being told to take action. This is the same sort of sentiment about the plan. You usually want to give them 3 to 6 steps on how they can go about purchasing your product. So you want to give them This could also apply with the pop-up where you have it in this like 1, put in your email, 2, go to services area, 3, apply this coupon code onto your apply the coupon code that we're going to email you into the services area or into your shopping cart and get the product. Bottom line is you need to give them a plan on how they will go about getting your product and being on their way to getting something that they want, because ultimately that's what you're selling. You're selling that you are going to provide them with something that they want, something that they now realize they need in their lives. So you want to give them that plan. Again, throughout the video, this isn't just for the end, but at some point you want to define failure. So an example of this would be if I were talking about my business. If my business is to help you grow, reach your goals on social media and online marketing. If I'm defining failure, this is what I would go about expressing to you. Maybe that if you don't take action, maybe you're missing out on crucial information that could increase your revenue. Maybe you stay stagnant if you don't take action. Maybe your competitors actually do take action and they get a step on you. You don't want to oversell failure. You don't want to make it so you're just going super negative, but you do want to define failure. You also want to sell the destination. So what I mean by selling the destination is same thing with the failure. If with the failure you're talking about if you don't take action, what could be the consequences? Selling the destination is more if you do take action, what could come from that. So you could talk about again with the example of my own brand, if you take action, you can be opening up multiple new revenue streams, increasing lifelong customers, reaching your goals on social media and online marketing. Those are the types of things. As far as selling the destination, you want to have your tagline in there, because again, your tagline is what you're going to constantly be repeating on all your platforms, because that is the line that should pretty much be synonymous with your brand and really explain the purpose of your brand. And I don't know if I wrote it down in the last points or forgot to write it down here, but one thing that's really good to have in your brand story is testimonials. So let me actually write that down because I don't want to forget that. Testimonial. So you want to have testimonials for sure, because testimonials will help your customer trust your brand. And customers really like seeing people that they can relate to. And if they see people that they relate to having success, they will picture themselves having that same success. So if you can get some of your customers who've had success with your products or really like your products to give you testimonials on video, and you're able to take that video and put it into your brand story, that will be very good, and it will help you a lot. So again, crafting your brand story is incredibly important. We'll continue to go into this. These are really, this is really like this skeleton of it. You want to get this down, put it into your brand story, get that done, get it up on your homepage of your website. You don't want to go cheap with this, because again, for a lot of the people that you're going to reach out to, it's the first thing they're going to see. So with that said, get started on this. Or if you've already made a brand story but it doesn't have all of these elements, then I would suggest giving it another shot, maybe redoing it and having all of these elements, because your brand story really could take your brand from not converting a lot of people to really converting a lot of people who visit your website. So with that said, we'll go deeper into this, but I will see you in the next video.